Here in Colorado, we have a shorter growing season than some of the southern states, so I decided to build a greenhouse to try to lengthen my growing season. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I did from start to finish. Now, first of all, I took 2x6s and the supply list. Have written an article about this, and I detailed what supplies I used and everything, and I'll leave a link to that article below this video. But what I did was took 2x6s along the bottom and made sure those were level with a mason line and a little level that goes on that string, just to make sure everything is level from the beginning. And what I did is use the 2x6s and made it 10 foot long, this length right here. That way I didn't have to cut the boards. I could just buy 10 foot 2x6s. And then the front here is 6 feet. So I had to cut those a little bit, but I figured with the 10 foot I wouldn't have to cut those. And then what I did is I had some landscaping timbers, and you can honestly use 4x4s or whatever you wanted for these four corners right here. But I put those in, and I dug about 2 feet into the ground. And as you can see, these front two right here are a little bit higher, and I chopped those off because these 2x4s on top are level. So I wanted to make sure everything was level. And then I also took 2x4s and put them 3 feet up around the outsides, just to make sure that the building had more structure, and then added a couple 2x6s from the bottom up to that 3 foot point right there. And then once I got everything level and in place, what I did was I started working on the roof. And now this picture right here, this is just going to show you the template I used, and then the next picture you'll see the actual template itself. But this is what I did was took 1x4s and kind of made a sandwich where I sandwiched this piece in the middle, and then these two end pieces on each side, and these go down and fasten to the frame itself. So in this next picture, you'll see that this template I used, and all I did was use 2 pallets and kind of made the center point right where these 2 pallets meet, and then I put a board up here on top. I fastened a board here on the bottom. And this center point right here, I marked the center point, and then I took a smaller piece of like this wood and put it across there, and then put another 2 pieces of this wood on top of that to make that sandwich. And then I also took 2 pieces that went down along this way to fasten to the frame itself. And then once I fastened those together, I cut off, I measured right here the center point. The distance of the roof basically is from this inside line to this inside line. So once I got that, I made the center point halfway exactly. And then that way everything you make is going to be uniform for that roof. And I made 4 of them. Depending on your design, you might need a few more than that. But what I did was, as I fastened them on, and this is going to take 2 people, but I put a couple of them on first. I had my wife help me, and then I put a 2x4 across the top just to kind of give everything a little bit of structure, make it a little sturdy so it didn't fall over on me. And then I fastened these vertical posts, or these 1x2s like this right here. And what I did was fasten those with these kind of L brackets, and I used an assortment of these. And then I also fastened those with the same bracket to the frame itself outside here, so making that really sturdy. And then I also fastened up here in these corners with the same kind of things. That way everything's kind of tied in together. And then what I did after that was I worked on once I got the top all built and put together, I worked on the frame of the window itself, and then the door. And what I did was basically take 1x2s and just kind of figure out what size of window I wanted. And then I nailed that in there, and then the door itself. And what I did was take these 1x2s, I believe they are. And put those the width that I wanted from the outsides in. So I figured out what size I wanted my door, and then I added these, and then these 2 supports back here as well. And then I built the door frame, and then after that I built the door itself once I figured out the size and everything. And I used a bunch of different brackets for this. I just used a regular gate latch for the door, which I took off later on to put the film on, but I wanted to make sure everything was in place. So after that, what I did was I decided to put the roof on, and what I did was this 2x4 was already across the top, so I added another 1x4 across this side and across the back side as well to give it a little bit more structure along that. And then I took these roof panels that I bought, and they're about $30 a piece, and I think I had to buy about 6 of them, and they were 10 or 12 feet long. I can't remember, but I just cut those down to size along here. And the way I fastened those were with these bolts right here, and they've got a rubber gasket right here that kind of fits in. And I spaced those out, 2 or 3 feet, something like that. And then put the roof gable on right here, which it extends a little bit out, and I'm not sure if I'm going to cut that off or leave that on. I'm not sure yet. And then what I did was the extra pieces that I cut off from here that were about 2-3 feet long, I just cut those with a pair of tin snips or whatever you have. I actually cut these with a cordless saw, but with these, I cut these at an angle with some tin snips and just kind of fitted in this whole area. I went ahead and covered my window for right now because I'm not quite ready to put that in, and I wanted it covered up. So that's the roof basically. And then the after that, I did the raised beds, and what I did with these was just took some more 1x6s, and like I said on the article, there's a whole list of stuff that I used, and depending on your design, might be a little bit different. But I just did 2 levels of 1x2s, and then fastened those together with some cut off shorter pieces of 1x2. Making sure that it's sturdy enough that all the dirt's not just going to fall out. And what I did is just use these 2 sides because I want to keep this open. I plan on doing an aquaponics system here in the near future, and I wanted to be able to get in and out and move around and stuff. So I just did these 2 sides for right now. These right here were kind of an idea of mine, and I haven't quite figured that out yet, so kind of disregard these, but that might be something I do later on, paint those up and make another raised bed outside of the garden for watermelons and stuff like that. And then what I did is I had to cheat because I don't have compost yet this year, but I bought some soil and all that and filled these up about, 6 inches to a foot, probably about 6 inches from the top of there and to get all of that going. And then after that, what I did was I needed to fasten the film. It's 6M film, and there's a link to where you can get that on eBay on the website as well. But what I did is I bought a 50-foot roll, which was about $70 to $100. I can't remember quite exactly. But the great thing about that was it allowed me to have one continuous piece all the way around these 3 sides. So it was I think it was about 7 feet wide and 50 feet long. So you can see down here I had to cut off a little bit. There was a foot or 2 left over, which was great because that way I could go, like I said, one big piece around the side, and then eventually I finished up the front with that extra stuff you see in here. But what I did with it was I fastened this double-sided tape all around the edges where I was going to fasten the greenhouse film. So I put this double-sided tape up. That way I wasn't drilling too many holes into the film itself. And then I went around the sides, the bottom, the top, and all of that, and fastened that all in there. And then after I did that, what I did was take these 1x2s and just kind of cover everywhere that I had tape on these. I covered with this 1x2, and I fastened them in with little screws to make sure that it kind of sandwiched that film in. That way it doesn't blow around and rip and tear and all of that stuff. And then after that, what I did, like I said, with the front, I just used some smaller pieces. So I did one piece right here, and I fastened that all in, and then I did one piece over here and fastened all of that in, and then I did the door itself from the inside and fastened all of that in with that same tape. You can see here I had to put another piece there. I haven't done that, and then right here I need to put some more tape in and do that. But one thing also that you need to remember is that you're going to need to get out once you're in the greenhouse. So I kind of MacGyvered this. I kind of MacGyvered this whole greenhouse basically. What I did was take a piece of paracord and tied it to the door latch, the gate latch there, and with a little weight right there. And I made I drilled a hole through this 1x4, and I kind of slanted it down a little bit. It's kind of hard to see in this. That way the paracord threads through pretty easily. And then I just grabbed some hinges and some stuff in my garage that I could figure out. Probably didn't really even need all this. I probably could have used that weight and tied that up and just had it sit right there. But I was getting too into it. But you can kind of figure out the best way to do that. Just make sure that if you're inside, you have a way to unlock the door. That way you can get out. So that's basically it for the greenhouse design. Like I said, there's an article that goes into this on the website, and then there's another article that shows you how to make the roof design, and it kind of gives a little bit more detail. It's really not that hard once you get the gist of it, but a really good idea. I still need to seal everything up because in the wintertime I want to see if I can get my aquaponics unit to so the fish don't die basically in the wintertime, and keep this as warm as possible with the sunlight. So I still have a lot of sealing to do, around the edges right here and underneath right here, around the door frame, all of that, to get that as sealed as possible. But for now, it's a good start. Now I just need to start planting some stuff, and in the next video I'm sure you'll see that with everything all finished up, and I'll have some stuff growing and all of that. But for now, I guess that's it. And if you do have any questions, you can head over to the website at survivalistprepper.net. Use the link below. Leave me a question there, or you can just leave me a question down here below, and if I didn't explain anything in enough detail. But with that, I appreciate it, everyone, and we will talk to you later.